team coach and apologised and said, "We are so sorry, we went so badly." But anyway, we got through. And we win that final the next day, and I kid you not, even though I went on to represent my country and be the British A and win World Championship medals, that remnant race was the best race of my life. And why it was the best race of my life was because I was with a group of girls that I loved and adored and had won together and we'd lost together and we'd rowed together for 2 years and put everything into making that boat fast. And the race itself, it was neck and neck the whole way. Sometimes we were ahead, sometimes we weren't. We went past Brennan and suddenly it was my job to get a seat. We were down and the coxswains made the call, Baz, you need to get this seat. And I got the seat and then we were off. It wasn't all down to me clearly, but I take some of the credit. But it really was neck and neck, and we finished that race and we deserved that win, and it just meant so much to me to win it for Thames Rowing Club because they got me, they gave me the confidence and they got me onto that British team. Without this club, there's no way I'd have gone on to be the rower that I ended up being. Okay, so moving on, the two things that I believe have always been part of Thames. First of all is the legacy. Pete alluded to this legacy. You've been around now for 160 years, and I stood on the shoulders of those that came before me. And you are standing on the shoulders of those that have come before you as well. But there's something that gives you a confidence. You just need to look around this room and look at the pictures of the people on the wall, look at the pictures of the people around there. And I was inspired by names that you might not even be aware of, the likes of Elise Laverick, Anne-Marie Phelps, the Batten sisters. And you might not know who they are, and you might be inspired by people in your world. But this club has depth and it has a legacy, and I'd really encourage us to kind of get to know as many people, and the people that you might not even know have a story when it comes to Thames. But that legacy gives you the confidence that you're doing the right things and you're part of something really, really special. The second thing that I think is never going to change is we always talk about this performance pyramid, and we have the top 8, we have the first 8, and we have the people throughout that system. But we have here the foundations, and we have the foundations of that pyramid before you get anywhere near the pyramid. And that's what Pete was talking about. All those people that turn up and show up and do the jobs, and that has always existed at Thames. And they're the people that rock up when they're injured and keep training and support their team. They're the people that are not eligible to row in Henley anymore, but they volunteer to be on committee places. The volunteers, coaches who dedicate their spare time to rigging and loading and driving, and the veterans who quietly and discreetly just fund this club and keep it. So, the things that I feel are different to what they were 17 years ago. You're not the underdogs anymore. I've always been an underdog. I generally have. I've always been the last person selected for a vote. I'm more or less always in the free seat. Sometimes I'm able to bow, but I was always that last person to be selected, and we were always the underdogs in the teams or the events that we were entering. And I love that. It's brilliant being an underdog because you've got no expectations. You can be really you can be mumble about it. Whatever you do is an absolute achievement. But you're not that anymore. And so if you look at that positively, you've got loads of people in this room that have won Henley Royal, which is amazing. Yeah. And you've also got loads of people that have won Henley Women's and all the other major events in this country. And you've also got people that know what it's like not to win, and know what it's like not to be on that podium, and know what it's like not to make that final, and know what it's like not to make the boat that then wins. And so around you've got people that have won and have done brilliantly, and you know what it takes to win, and you know what it takes to get in that boat and get across the line and get in the podium, and that is something that you can really tap into. But you've got to target target on your back, and it's harder to defend the spot. And that's why it's critical that I would say you can't do what you've always done. You can't, whatever you did last year is not going to be good enough this year. And whatever you did 2 or 3 years ago is absolutely not going to be good enough because everyone else is caught up. So you need to now be looking at being innovative and being brave and looking for the things that you can do differently. Looking at the ways that you can train the women differently to the men. This is my area, this is my absolute. How can we work with the female ideology and how can we really tap into that because pioneering strides being made in that space. And we need to think how can we as a club stay ahead because what we've done isn't going to be good enough to win the 4 club events that I know you can do at Cambridge. Very different to when I was here is that you have the whole pyramid. Again, Pete mentioned this. I thought he was stealing my whole speech for 5 minutes. We did it one first. That's fine. We've always had brilliant performing parts of the pyramid. So there's always been like a part of the club that's done awesome. And when I was here, like the top of the pyramid was doing well, but we didn't have that strength in that depth. But right now, we've got the whole thing where athletes can work their way up through the ranks, and that might take years for some of you. You might take 6 years, no problem with that. That is absolutely brilliant. You take your time, you work your way up from the 6th day right up into the 1st day, and that is awesome. But there's also people here that have been identified because we have that system in place now where you can be accelerated through and you can make it right up into the top 8. And how awesome is that we have the whole system here where that pyramid is full. The size of the squad, I mean, I was talking to Hugh this week, who's kind of giving me some tips, and he said there's 70 women in the women's squad. He said there were 70 awesome women who were so athletic and so fit and supported by Sandra and Tom and Jamie, and that combination of a brilliant of numbers of athletic ability with brilliant coaching means that we can put forward strong crews on our worst day, and having the resilience within the system so that we can, regardless of what life throws our way, we've got awesome crews showing up. It's just absolutely terrific. Alright. The last thing that Thames got that we didn't have when I was in this club is that we've got the independence, we've got the Thames way, and we have absolute courage in that conviction that what we are doing is right. And we have the Thames way of rowing, we have the Thames way of doing things. We're not relying on external funding, which is what we were when I was in the system. And when you're relying on people giving you money to achieve certain things, it changes the way you do things. But now that we have the house providing the finances, we have awesome athletes, and we have really, really clear vision, it means that without a doubt we're going to go on and carry on this absolute the achievements that we've gathered this year. We're just gathering momentum, and we're going to be getting stronger and stronger, and we are the best club in the country, and we're going to carry on